What's up, guys? My name is Dom if you're new here, and welcome to Faith Family Homestead. If you are not new here, welcome back. We are in my kitchen today because if you have been following along, I have been harvesting a bunch of green beans. And so today I am finally going to be preserving them up. So I want to make dilly beans. I've never made pickled green beans before, but I would like to try because I have lots of green beans to use up. And then I also want to preserve some in the freeze dryer and kind of make them like a crunchy chip, kind of like a veggie straw. I think that would be really good. I do like the what is it called? I got them from Trader Joe's before, the sugar snap pea like chips. And so I think that making crunchy green bean chips would be really yummy. I'm gonna saute them up, season them, and then freeze dry them like that. And then I am going to do a quick pickle. So it's not going to be a canning recipe. It's going to be a quick pickled green bean recipe. So I had a gallon-sized Ziploc bag in my refrigerator, and I was just collecting them. I think it was over 2 or 3 harvests that got me a gallon of these green beans. Most of them are from the Painted Pony that you guys saw me harvest, but I did have maybe a few from a pole bean that I don't know the variety. So this is kind of like the ones that are on the pole beans. They're more flat than the ones, the Painted Pony are more elongated and slim. And I haven't got a bunch off of the pole beans, but there are some mixed in here as well. I will leave a link in the description box to the quick pickle recipe that I'm going to be using. It's not mine. It's 1 cup of water, 1 cup of vinegar, 2 tablespoons of sugar, and I already have that brine warming up at the back of my stove. And now I'm going to head to the garden to get some dill and just some fresh herbs to go inside this quick pickle recipe. So I am going to be getting some of this dill. The recipe called for 2 or 3 sprigs, so I'm just going to pick some of this off. I'll just get a little bit of this rosemary, not too much. So while I'm standing out here, so these are the pole beans, and I just looked at these plants yesterday. And there's already some more to harvest. This recipe calls for red pepper flakes if you want it, but instead I think I'm gonna add some of these spicy peppers, just these 3 different colors. So I did go ahead and pick off the rest of the green beans that were out there, so we'll use that today as well. So I have my fresh herbs, and I'm going to put those down at the bottom. This recipe also calls for onions, and I'm going to be using my homegrown onions that I previously froze and just throw some down at the bottom of this jar. And I'm going to be looking for the smaller green beans because you want them, the jar I'm using is a 16-ounce wide mouth jar, and it says you want them 1/4 inch from the top. And so basically I need green beans. I need green beans that are not going to be like that one's too high. And so I'm going to look for green beans that are shorter so that they can go down in the jar nicely. And then if I need to, if I don't have enough, then I will cut some in half. While Nehemiah started finding small beans to fit in the jar, I put on some gloves and started chopping the spicy peppers. I didn't want them to this jar to be super spicy, and so I did de-seed them. As I was chopping, I just pushed my thumb through the middle to take out as much seeds as possible because I did want a little kick, but not too spicy. Okay, I have my jar filled. I put the frozen onions, the spicy peppers, the herbs are at the bottom. I did end up cutting some of them in half to squeeze them in there. And then this is my brine. I'm going to pour it right over. To cover. So I'm just going to stick a butter knife down. Okay, so I went ahead and got my second jar done off camera. This one I just added some dill with the rest of the brine, and then there wasn't enough brine to completely cover, and so I just added splash more vinegar and water mixture to fill the jar. And now I'm going to sit these in the refrigerator and we will give these a taste test tomorrow. So I decided I only want 1 tray of these green beans to freeze dry because I've never had them before and I don't know how they'll taste or if we like them. I'm hoping that we will. So I'm only going to freeze dry 1 tray, but that still leaves me with another probably same amount of green beans. And so what I'm going to do is freeze dry 1. So first I'm going to saute it, add some seasoning to it, put in the freeze dry tray, and then with this I am going to blanch it and freeze it so that we can have green beans one night for dinner. So I'm going to add this balsamic roasted onion veggie roaster that I got from Costco, and this is what I'm going to use to season these green beans with. It already has salt in it, and so I don't need any salt. I'm just gonna saute these. I have my pan or my pot back here because I need that to come to a boil so that I can dunk the green beans in there and cook them for 2 to 3 minutes and then get them out and put them in an ice bath so that they can stop cooking. I'm going to actually use ghee so that it has a buttery flavor. While I've been working on these green beans with Nehemiah, Anaya has been cleaning and, what is it called? Cleaning, peeling, and chopping this ginger for me. This is ginger that we grew. You guys saw that we harvested this together. And I'm going to freeze dry this as well. So this will be 1 tray. These green beans will be 1 tray. The freeze dry can fit 4 trays, and so I don't want to only let it run with 2 trays. And so on the last 2 trays, I'm going to slice up some apples and freeze dry those. My daughter Nehemiah asked for some freeze dried apples. But right now we only have bananas and some berries. So I think freeze drying some apples will be delicious because we really like them the one other time that I freeze dried them. So I'm going to get these on the freeze dried tray right. So I just tasted one of these green beans and for flavor, because obviously whatever they taste like now, that's what they're going to taste like after they finish freeze drying, and they taste really good. I'm happy with the flavor, the amount of salt. That seasoning does have salt in it already, so I didn't add any salt. And so now I'm going to take this off. Yeah, and then I'm going to add this to a freeze-dried tray as well. While I'm waiting on the water to boil to blanch the green beans, I'm going to go ahead and shape this sourdough. I started this early this morning. I'm trying a new recipe. This is, I'll link that in the description as well. And this is just bread flour. And I'm going to let this bulk ferment overnight, and then I'll bake this in the morning. Okay, the water is boiling back here, so you know what? I didn't put salt in there. So I'm going to add some salt first. I'm going to let this boil for 2 to 4 minutes. While that was boiling, I decided to use my time wisely. So I got these apples out of the refrigerator, and I did take off any bad spots and then slice them thinly, probably about 12 slices per apple, to put them on this freeze-dried tray. These are the apples that we got apple picking in Virginia. These are the best tasting apples that I've ever had. I've been apple picking about 3 times, and these apples are the tastiest out of all 3 times. while after my 2 or 4 minutes was up, I did go ahead and put that in an ice bath, and they said you wanted to let it sit for a couple minutes, and so I went back to chopping apples. These are Granny Smith, and then those 2 red ones back there are heirloom variety. I don't remember the kind, but then I also had some called Ever Crisp, which was really delicious, and supposedly it's supposed to stay fresh and crispy for up to 9 months. So I shall see about that, because we still have lots more in our refrigerator so far. They are staying pretty crispy and are still tasting really good. So I have my freeze dry full. We got the 2 trays of apples, the green beans. They have been cooling, so they're not super hot, fresh off the pan. And the ginger. So I'm going to put these scraps of apple peels and cores in a Ziploc bag. Because last year when we went apple picking and I froze a bunch of apples, I ended up using the scraps and the peels and the cores to make apple scrap jelly, and it tasted really good. I made 2 jars. The kids loved it, and so I'm going to be saving all of my apple scraps and cores again and making that. And what was nice about this recipe is that it didn't use any pectin or anything. It just used sugar, and that's what solidified it with the pectin that comes out in the apples by boiling them down really well. And it was a very good jelly consistency. So the green beans have been in here cooling, and now I'm just going to add them to my Ziploc bag. So now that I got all of that prepped and things are in the freeze dry, we'll be back tomorrow to taste the freeze dried things, and then as well as the quick pickled green beans. And I'll let my kids try them too, and we'll give you our honest opinion. Okay guys, it is the next day. This technically freeze dry things had already finished earlier in the day, but I had to go pick up my son. My son's been with grandparents for the last 2 weeks, so I just picked him up from the airport. We just got back, and so now we are going to take out these freeze dry things and do a taste test. So they've already been finished, so I hit warm trays so that the trays wouldn't be too cold to take them out. So now I'm just going to exit. So first we're gonna taste test the green bean.
Not good.
It's good? Does it taste like a chip?
You give me the taste subjects.
Hold on.
Vector. Well,
it doesn't taste so bad.
It doesn't taste so bad?
Yeah. It's yummy.
Aftertaste isn't that good though.
It's so good.
Oh, that's hot.
I like it. It tastes good. Now we're gonna taste the apples.
Yum.
What you think, Naya?
It's fine.
Good.
I really love these. So the green beans did turn out like I was thinking, of a crunchy chip. I would definitely snack on those. These apples are delicious. They have the flavor of the nice fresh picked orchard taste. And so yeah, I would say that this was really a success. I'm not going to taste the ginger, but it's also done. So we're going to store these in glass jars, and I'm going to put oxygen absorbers in them. These really taste like chips. I would make 4 trays of these freeze-dried green beans. The flavor is excellent, and putting that seasoning on it is really good. Nehemiah is sitting here eating them, so I don't know if we'll actually have any to save, I probably won't put any inside of any oxygen absorber because we'll probably eat those before the end of the day. So I'm just gonna put the lid. We got, this is a 32-ounce jar of freeze-dried ginger. This is my little shelf where I've been putting all my freeze-dried things. So I have the cucuzzi squash back there, goat's milk, we have the strawberries and berries, bananas, we have peppers, onions. So we have one spicy pepper, one not spicy pepper, onions, this is beef broth, we have dried herbs and celery. And Anaya's adding the apples to this jar. So I just took out my jar of pickled green beans, and this is the not spicy one, and we're gonna taste this as well. The green beans are basically gone, so we'll just keep snacking on these. Oh, how's it taste?
It tastes good.
What do you think, Mia?
Tastes good.
Tastes like a pickle?
It tastes like the inside is vinegar.
It tastes like what?
The inside's vinegar. I didn't taste one.
It does have the dill vinegar flavor. You want to taste it? Yeah. I definitely like these crunchy chips better, but the pickled dilly beans are also really yummy. This was only letting the green beans sit for 24 hours in this vinegar brine. It really said that you want to let it sit for 24 to 48 hours to really let the flavors mend together. And so the longer we let it sit, the better it will taste. But at this point right now, with 24 hours, it tastes good. The next beans that I get harvested will definitely bring it straight to the freeze dryer, because this is a great way to get vegetables in. It tastes delicious. It tastes like a chip, and it's just super delicious, and all my kids love it. You can hear them crunching in the background. And so I don't know why I was scared to make 2 trays of that. I'm glad I figured it out though, and so that's really nice. Because I still have lots of green beans out there on the plants. If you're interested in one of these freeze dryers, I do have a discount code for $50 in the description box. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.